Ro4 live and have a delightful 35 minutes of trying to make the custom game. That's my favorite thing.
Well, I actually do like that personally. I do like the authenticity of watching the errors occur because that's how I learn about production, is by watching errors happen from like big streamers and events and things. But I also would prefer the shorter, so I segment it just in case I do it one way or the other. Alright, looks like we're actually getting champions and picks locked in for this game. The chat bans happened once upon a time, but 4 lobby resets later, and I don't remember what they are. Bans are Janet, Annie, Talon, Caston, Wukong, Maokai. The picks we're seeing Cassiopeia locked in first. Capiosia has a lot of sustained damage and an AoE stun.
Tapiokia. I'm just going to, like, every time I cast her in a fight, I'm just going to change where I put the consonants.
There we go. So yes, oh dear, I can't, that would be funny. Alright, but yeah, Cassiopeia has a lot of sustained damage, her AoE makes it really good for zoning. Jarvan, line effect AoE airborne, spawns terrain, has a slow, he's a great AD, bruiser tank kind of guy. And Elise, does a lot of damage, has a stun, repel is mean and removes you from being able to be hit with stuff. And then we see Pantheon.
Or it's nice, depending on which side of it you're on.
Yes. Then we have Pantheon and Mumu. Pantheon brings a stun, good finishing power to the table. He also has global map presence because of Grand Skyfall, which is, you want to be present on the map at all times. He can be present most of the places on the map at once if he wants to. Just, I can be over here. The threat of Pantheon showing up. Or, alternatively, the forcing him to use his ultimate so he can't show up somewhere else later. Pantheon, his Grand Skyfall is awesomely strategic. And Mumu has a lot of AoE damage. He's very good on points because he can hit so many targets at once, and it has a stun. And then we are seeing...
There's a lot of pretty strong champions in this game so far.
Yep.
Every time Sauron plays Pantheon, he gets over 20 kills in the game. So, we'll see if that happens this game.
Sauron is the best player in Dominion with X number of champions. High Peoples may be the best player overall in Dominion, but the champions that Sauron plays, he plays better than High Peoples. If that makes any sense. It's something that a couple people were talking about the other day and I thought critically about for a while. Sauron is amazing with like 20 champions, and he's pretty good with a lot of other ones, and High Peoples is just like good across the board, but I don't think I've ever seen anything that I specifically associate with High Peoples, with the exception of Sejuani. High Peoples just tends to play whatever and does good with it. We're seeing now the Kayle and Urgot locked in. Urgot, very durable, very safe ranged AD carry, works up top or in the bottom lane. Terra Capacitor makes it very easy for him to trade with his opponent because if he walks up to someone, he only takes shield damage and just puts a bunch of hurt on him. And Kayle is a ranged AD carry that can hit everyone on the enemy team. Oh, High People's Zyra. I completely forgot about that one. And then we're seeing Trundle and Jace as well. Trundle's massively sustaining and hard to unseat from a tower. Jace, great long range poke, is a good brawler.
I don't remember who it was, but last week Orianna built an Executioner's Calling against Trundle, and it was amazing. Because generally you wouldn't build an Executioner's on Orianna, but you get the Grievous
Wounds. It's the fastest way to get the
Wounds.
health reduction.
Yeah, and it was amazing. So Executioners, get it against Trundle.
Well, 50 G4 Nexus, you can associate a champion to a player if they have a very large champion pool, but it's just like, which one do they get the most plays with in a tournament environment? Nordok plays more than just Malzahar, but his Malzahar is what we see the most in tournaments, and he's really good at that. He also plays pretty good Lulu and some other champs. And Zemike actually plays a couple characters that aren't supports. You don't see that happen very often, though.
I don't believe you. He only plays Lulu.
It's happened. MMKH plays a pretty good Taric, and we haven't seen that in ages, but mostly we see his Blitzcrank. We mostly see him play Blitzcrank and Singe, were I think the two that he's most well known for.
I don't think I've ever seen him play Singed. Blitzcrank a lot.
I think it was before you started commentating with us, but we did see a lot of MKH Singed. He'd do bottom lane or top lane with it. That was the one thing I really liked about Point Defense when they were active and competing with is it was Necrogen, Sauron, MMKH, Magimelkor, and Zabers. And then Fadru subbed in when someone was missing. And then if someone else was missing, they subbed in with someone else. But on that team, Sauron could bottom lane or top lane. Necrogen was probably the best bottom lane for the longest time in Dominion, both here and on Europe, because he played on both servers competitively. Singed could MMKH could bottom lane or top lane. Zabers could bottom or top lane. And I don't think Melkor bottomed at all. I think Melkor only topped. But those guys, that was a team of you never knew who was putting champions where on the map. Old Point Defense was scary. And here are the summoner spells.
Pretty standard.
One CV on each team, and CVs are good to have. Point Defense, their win streak record was 11 weeks. They had 11 weeks at number 1. Paizo and Child Support had 17 weeks at number 1 at one time. And I don't think Clueless really even has a streak yet. I don't think they have one.
4 or 5 so far, or right now.
No,
yeah,
I mean in a row.
Yeah, I think they've won the past 4.
What? Oh, that's right, because Pex hasn't been... Pex has been kind of Mia. So Clueless has their own streak now, finally.
I'm not actually sure how long the streak is, but it's been this past several... I'm sure Melokodi knows. Oh, is it only 3?
Magimelkor was the guy's name, and yes, he was one of the best. We haven't seen him in quite a long time. He was amazing. This is the round of 4, Cercio. It's the semifinals. It took a long time to get the lobby together because it was... there were client errors. There were errors. I don't know. They were on the same team, Kaiser, so... It didn't quite play out that way, but I like that. I like that post. It's pretty good. Hey, if you Kaiser, I see if you're ever on North America server, go look at Sauron's rune pages. Just go look through the rune page names. They're amusing. We have a couple seconds left before this game starts. I can't plug the chat channel because the client's not going to be here for a couple more seconds. I can't plug it that fast. I did it during the downtime anyway. I plugged the stream. I plugged everything while we're waiting for this game to start. Oh, Kaiser.
Gander is really, really good at filling time.
Kaiser-esque?
It's unreal how good he is at filling time.
Thank you. I enjoy coming up with things to say and do during the downtime. Here we go.
Everything else that I cast for, we just do hold screen and music in between games. Because who's going to fill that much time just talking about absolutely nothing?
Oh, that's boring.
He just talks. It's amazing.
That's what endears the audience to the broadcast and the commentators, is having that downtime to fill. I really enjoy watching shows where that occurs, because that's where you get to learn things about the game you didn't normally know. That's where the casters or the people that are running the production can fit in statistics and history and other things like that are awesome. We just got to sit here and talk about Old Point Defense for a little while, and there's a lot of new viewers that don't even know about that team. Sauron was the captain of that team. They were the best team in Dominion for the better part of the first year of its existence. They were completely unstoppable for a really long time. They were dominant in NESL's Conflict on the Crystal Scar, which no longer exists, and I think the first 10 weeks or so of Dominate Dominion's tournaments, they were still, kicking butt. They didn't really start to get losses until Blind Pick Banditos started to be the #1 team, and they started trading back and forth with Blind Pick Banditos. Believe it or not, guys, Payzivil and Child Sport used to not be very good. There were tournaments they played in where they didn't place. Their first appearance was great. I mean, they won their first appearance in Dominate Dominion. But then, after that, they had, like, a 4th place. They had a couple of not placing at all. A couple of not appearing. They had, like, a 3rd place. They started off kind of rough. But then they started trading out with Point Defense and Blind Pick. And then eventually Point Defense, a couple of their players stopped competing. And things like that. And then Blind Pick took over the spot for a very, very long time. And then Payzone and Child Support took over the top slot. And now Clueless might be taking over the top slot. We'll still have to wait a couple of weeks to find out. So it's Kaiser-esque, okay. I always read the SC as SC because, like, I hung around, like, the StarCraft community, and my first, like, foray into anything esports related was doing StarCraft stuff for, like, the first 2 years. So I always read SC, anytime I see that at the end or beginning of a name, I always pronounce it SC like StarCraft. So, old habits, they die harder. Yeah, man, you get those rune page names? You see those? They're funny. I love it. Yeah, if you ever want to have a lot of fun,
I have to look this up now.
Go through all of the tournament players that play in the Dominion tournaments and just start reading what their rune pages are called. There's a lot of funny stuff in there. So this game is going to be Cheese Enema versus Sofanda's Bear Tibbers. It's the semifinals, the round of 4 game. DominateDominion.com, League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 76.
And we have the members of Sofanda getting to the top lane a little bit earlier. Volatile Spiderling coming out from practice yellow there to start a little bit of damage. They're going to get it to about a quarter cap before they get poked off by Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia has a ton of poke and really wants to be throwing out those spells so that she can keep up stacks of her Deadly Cadence passive. Smaller mana cost, assuming that she continues casting spells. And there are the Qs, but there's the engage from Driver EQ coming in. Lurch over at the back, and get dove on by Lee Sin. Weasel is going to be the first blood. MMKH going to follow soon. Practice Yellow going to go down. Also, Lurch trying to get away, but Generic has the Q, and that is going to be finally the kill onto Lee Sin. SNC and Carrick here are now against Generic 2v1, but Generic has a decent amount of long-range poke because he is playing KO right now. Vanish Shots comes in and despair a little bit more damage, but there's the auto onto Krayog, and that is going to interrupt the cap. Driver comes back in with the EQ. No knock-up onto SNC, but it doesn't matter too much. There's the exhaust. It was saved from before. Generic running away. On the other side, we have Practice Yellow going in onto MMKH. The exhaust was put down, and there's the Repel going to come down. Also, Elise does fall, but so does Pantheon. Elise comes in, follows up the Q. One more auto attack and a double kill. Needs to get away from Cassiopeia. A lot of damage from that Twin Fang. And Krayog trying to get the cap. He needs about a quarter left. We're going to get caught off by Generic here. Generic actually going to go down. Armed Weasel now off to the side. Unicorns is actually just going to go ahead and recall. No, he's not. He's going to Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike. And there's the Miasma for a little bit more damage. The pillar is slowing him, allowing Lurch to kite enough. Cassiopeia is so good at kiting. Weasel going to get CC'd, and that is a double kill for Krayog.
And that's the windmill fight. It's amazing.
That is the windmill fight.
That was a really good delay by Trundle. Trundle was able to just stay up there for a long period of time. I get the first gank in the bottom lane of the game on camera this time. Corval knocks Generic back away from the point. Golly moving closer into him. Corval. Oh, there's the position reverse. No? Was it? That was just... oh, he died during it. Okay.
Yeah, he died
why they
during
didn't swap.
But he is going to go back to the Nexus, so perhaps that was a swap after all, because he was alive and then he wasn't.
Yes, he changed methods of existence or types of existence. It's something that can occur.
If only Jace had revived at exactly the same time, then it really would have been a reversal. Whoa. See, if I was Corval, I would have revived at the exact same time just for the pun, even though it wouldn't have been a good idea strategically.
You have to be dedicated to your comedy. Oh dear, Trundle with that interrupt.
Well, both AP Corky and Trundle are massive trolls, so the confusion is understandable.
I see what you did there. Puns of damage, taking Trundle down, sending him back to the summoner platform. He is going to hit his revive and move up towards the windmill fight as quickly as possible. Cassiopeia knows that she could die at any moment and is just kind of hanging out waiting for reinforcements. They find Trundle, they engage on him. That's a lot of damage spent on him right away.
Oh, good ult onto Generic, got him stunned up, but he is still alive, and Craig gonna die immediately again. There's a nice Crystal Sun. Mummy gets us on to 3. Safeguard in from Unicorns, chasing down onto Lurch. Lurch picks up the kill with Twin Fang, and Unicorn's gonna have to go away. Practice Yellow, give him the W target or get the double kill. Both of those work. And Golly, very, very low right now, might actually die to the Despair from Amumu and is going to die to the Bandage Shots. Unicorns might die to the Despair now. He does have Safeguard. Meanwhile, Practice Yellow just pick up the kill onto Cassiopeia. Generic coming back in, and SNC knows he has to back off.
That fight was so big, I couldn't fit it all on the screen. Oh dear, stun trades, but Practice Yellows doesn't land.
And Skyfall and MMKH drops in. Remember that this entire time, the quarry has been neutralized, so it was a 3.5 cap, and now a 2.5 cap here.
And it looks like Jarvan is going to meet with Jace in the center of the map. Golly starts putting the hurt on him immediately. Trundle and Pantheon.
Oh, good knockback.
And ooh, that's slow, keeping Corvo alive. And that shock blast into the fight as well, contributing a lot of damage. Chase down in health, but definitely not out in terms of threat. Armed Weasel, oh my, Cassiopeia showing at the fight, really hoping to clean this up. Lands a lot of damage. Unicorn's health taking down. Is that Safeguard going to save him?
You can Safeguard to a Storm Relic?
Yep, you can also Shunpo to them, Leap Strike, works on towers too.
You can Safeguard to an enemy Storm Relic?
Yep. Or an enemy tower.
What?
But you can't Safeguard to an enemy tower. I don't think. Maybe you can.
What? How can you Safeguard it to the enemy's Storm Shield Relic?
Because the enemy Storm Shield Relic doesn't want to hurt you. It's your friend. Look at him. He's just this nice little guy sitting here. People can walk by. He's not going to hurt anyone. The enemy team can hurt you with him, but he's not trying to start any trouble. He's neutral.
Unreal. Krea getting focused again and is going to fall. We'll see if it's enough for them to actually pick up a dive here. Golly getting engaged on. There's the kill coming down. A little bit of an early use there. Cataclysm comes across, but Lurch, that set up a perfect petrifying gaze for him. And it is actually a triple kill. So very nice Cassiopeia play, and Golly probably going to go down MKH with that W.
And MKH is going to get a little bit of farm over here as part of the map. Remember, killing a minion wave...
hold on.
What?
You can Safeguard to the enemy's Storm Shield, and you cannot Safeguard to your own Storm Shield? What?
Scumbag blue Storm Shield.
What is this? Oh my goodness.
Wow, the Storm Shield has betrayed you.
That just doesn't make sense.
There you go. He only has one eye. The other one has a stick in it. Let's see.
Can Cassiopeia Shunpo to her own? Practice Yellow used to
Pretty
exist.
sure Cat and Jax can Shunpo to anything, allied or enemy. I think Safeguard is the only... because it has that distinction between ally or enemy, it's the one that has problems.
Golly does manage to get his ult off. There's a knockup onto 3 Unicorns diving in. Also, remember though that Elise died before this fight could start, and that is going to be a 3-for-0 here. They've actually started to group as 5. Pantheon going to split off to go down to the Boneyard, but NUMEROS taking a pretty convincing lead at this point.
Oh dear! Move being able to tag Lee with that bandage toss. Another shock blast being dropped on him. Kale uses that invulnerable. Is not going to pay for it this time. Invulnerable actually going to be effective in making Kale able to leave the fight.
Cassiopeia is 10-2. So, Lurch has been gifted or picked up for himself quite a number of kills here. Armed Drizzle gets the Cataclysm off, but it's on time. Great bandage toss to land the stun there. And Lurch just has so much damage.
Did you see the pillar in between them to block the auto attack? That was so clean by Krog, throwing that down in just the perfect position to save Cassiopeia's behind. Cassiopeia doesn't have a butt. She's a snake. Reckoning on Krog, followed up by a stun, and Elise is going to finish him off. Repel up, come down for Lurch. No, that Petrifying Gaze is going to delay things just a little bit. Still going to be a free double kill.
just in time to pick up that kill. MMKH needs to get in, but he has a little bit more cooldown on his Aegis of Zionia. Could maybe try to go over to a minion there. I think he tried to chain the lightning from his Heartseeker Strike over to Elise from her Spiderlings, but didn't quite work out there.
No, unfortunately, it did not. Jarvan is going to pick up the Storm Shield for his... No, he's not. I'm completely wrong. It's just the lowliest little Storm Shield.
So we do have a backdoor attempt here from Unicorns on Lee Sin, but he's going to be flanked by 3 right now, including Trundle and Pantheon, and those are 2 champions it's difficult to run away from.
Nice knockback into MMKH stun. Good move. Iron Will safeguards out.
And there's going to be the kill for MMKH. Still a little bit short of that 20 kill mark that we expect out of Sauron. But 5-4 and 12 kills over on Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia is chaosing, and that is why Krag now trying to chase 2. Trundle, you don't want a 1v2, but they're both very low. And Trundle's pretty strong, but he has Kale on the other side, and Kale does have intervention right now. So Generic could get that off onto someone. Will you need to use it onto Weasel? He's going to not use it. That was the Golden Aegis.
MKH not quite up at Sauron level Pantheon this particular game. We'll see if he manages to get that rolling better as time passes. Top point has become neutral. Mumu comes in, SNC with the bandage toss, and there's the invulnerable on Elise, but intercepted by SNC. And oh dear, that petrifying gaze setup was very good.
Yeah, that wasn't the ideal invulnerability because it was pretty much at the same time as the repel, and so they stacked over each other for a little bit, and that's something where you just have to have so much practice playing as a team together so that you know that one or the other is going to be used, and you don't stack your invulnerabilities that way. Meanwhile, MMKH does get shut down in the bot lane, trying to 1v2, trying to pick up that Boneyard, but you know what, he drew 3 people towards the bot lane area and allowed them to pick up the windmill, so I'd say worth.
Yeah, Urgot is going to pick up the bottom point. She's still doing a very good job. 440 plus Nexus health for them. So things have been working out great for them all game long. Trundle moving in. The spread, the different directions they're coming in from. They're bringing the full 5 up here to this upper part of the map.
Alright, Subjugate used by Craig there to start out the fight. And at least with the repel and the invulnerability at the same time, yet again, kill off to the backside of the fight. Practice Yellow gonna get focused down. MMKH was exhausted. We have Lurch running away, exhausted also. Unicorns with the cripple comes down to try and kite a little bit. Trundle was able to pick up one on the other side. MMKH now needs to peel for Lurch right now. Our Unicorns is gonna be able to pick it up, but there's a great Dragon's Rage to disengage. Meanwhile, SNC getting chased, going to be able to dodge that cocoon out from Elise. It is a double kill though for Practice Yellow. Unicorns coming up from the side. Can't quite get in range to land a Sonic Wave, but maybe if he safeguarded Yellow, he would be able to. SNC under the point right now. There's a bandage toss forward, gets CC'd for days. Lurch coming in though, a lot of damage from the Twin Fangs, a lot more damage. The shutdown onto Mumu. Petrifying gaze, hit 3, but she couldn't cast anything else because she died to the Reckoning from Kale.
Yeah, if she had had any time to put more damage on them, that would have been a amazing triple kill. However, Corval
just some Yasma even
is able to get up here. Pantheon dropping
Maybe
down
not
as
enough,
well. Arm Weasel getting sent back to base. Kale has to leave, so through all of that, enough time was bought for them to retain control of the top point.
And that's important because it's a quest objective. And we have Lurch and bot lane alongside SNC. They should be able to pick up the kill on Nagali without too much difficulty. You see SNC cutting forward so that he can make sure he does not allow Gali to pick up the health relic. Gali does have a revive right now, so there's no way they're going to be able to pick up the Boneyard, but it looks like he's actually just going to hold on to that because he knows that they need to rechannel the quarry.
Storm Shield, somebody picked that up, right? I thought I saw that there for a moment. Yeah, Pantheon.
Yeah, MMKH has it.
Oh dear, MMKH, no,
Heartseeker strike
why?
onto everyone, but he does not have a Lulu.
He doesn't have anything in that bush. MKH is in timeout for 15 more seconds to think about what he's done. Krog at the top point has to defend this 1v2 for a little while, and while Krog is pretty durable, Kale has some shred that she brings to the table, and J4 has that armor pen as well.
Yeah, he actually, I was going to say he needed to flash that EQ, but of course he does not have flash. But the only way he was going to survive was if he could flash the EQ from Weasel. And Lurch is going to sacrifice himself to save the windmill from getting captured. It is neutral right now. There's a bandage toss over, and Weasel going to be cut off by 3 right now. Lurch does not have revive, so he's actually going to be dead for another 8 seconds, and Weasel's going to allow Craig to pick up that double kill. They need to stop the minions from getting it. That's going to be no problem. To the skies from Corval, and Lightning Field going to be able to pick up the wave.
Bottom point. MMKH has pushed the creep wave over towards Golly's side of the map. However, it seems that Elise and Lee Sin are on their way down. MMKH smells something is going on, starts retreating, finds them in the jungle, takes a lot of stun and damage for his trouble, and is easily cleaned up from that. However, revealing that they're down there is going to force the response from Jace and the rest of the crew on the team to move down and keep that point from being captured. Trundle hanging around the upper part of the map to make sure that no one can really make a play for the windmill or refinery, but it's Trundle by himself, so he can't split off to stop Kale while he's dealing with J4. Bottom part of the map, SNC and Lurch are able to route Practicillo and Unicorns away. Good bandage toss, using that to jump through Elise to try and close into Unicorn, safeguards to the tower in order to escape.
That was really nice play from everyone there, really. SNC did not have his Curse of the Sun Mummy, so he couldn't get that off. But Cassiopeia did have Petrifying Gaze, got a fantastic 3-person ult off, and then they managed to pick up 1 kill. And then you saw SNC, he used Elise effectively as a ward hop with his bandage toss. He got the stun, but then when he couldn't pick up the kill, he said, I don't care, I'm trying to chase after Lee Sin. Lurch stayed behind because there was no way that Lurch was going to be able to gap close enough to catch up to Unicorns. So Lurch stayed back to pick up the kill onto Elise, and Mumu kept chasing. Fortunately for Unicorns, he was able to safeguard to the tower and got away, but it was very nice micro there between everyone. Golly and Corval are at it, and Golly is going to have the worst side of that trade.
Crowd discovers enemies in the middle of the map. Stun from Pantheon on Unicorns. Kale closing in. With Kale being here, that's not so great for Cheese Enema. However, Lurch survival is also really bad for Sofanda's team. So you have 2 people that can do a lot of damage to show up at the end of that fight and swing things in one direction or the other. Kale just bailed out as fast as possible when Cassiopeia showed up.
Yeah. Cassiopeia is a little bit scary. And Cassiopeia is one of the few mages that can actually do okay against Kale because she has great damage over time, and most people can't do anything over time against the Kale. If the fight lasts for a long time, Kale is going to win it. You have to burst her down and CC her so she can't ult, but that is going to be the game.
And that means that we're going to see Cheese Enema in the finals. And I love Cheese Enema in the finals because I'm a big fan of that team. I did like it a little bit more when Sifu Calvin was on it, though. I like Sifu Calvin a lot. Hey! Monkzilla, what's up, dude? Yeah, the tournament. Yeah. Okay, let's kick over to the launcher here. I gotta go ahead and link this stream to my friend. Runkzilla played in a bunch of the games. Same stream as the day of Dominion stream was. Twitch.tv/DominateDominion. Finals are going to happen after this commercial. Yes, we do have finals coming up. And twitch.tv/DominateGamingTV. I hope I spelled that right because I can't read the text on the screen too well because it's on my TV and the resolution's a little wonky because of just how the TV displays. So let's take a look at the items from that game. You can see them, all of them on the screen. Lurch's Cassiopeia, 21 kills.
Cassiopeia is pretty terror. A little bit terror.
And I want to see some guesses. How many thousands of damage did Cassiopeia do? 17-minute game. I'm going to guess 36. Maybe. Let's look at those items again. I'm going to guess 36k. I'm going to let you guys get a couple seconds to make your guesses while I show Graveyard Hero Urgot.
I'm going to guess that Cassiopeia did 10% more damage than the second most damage on the team, which was... I don't even remember because I relogged my client. I don't even remember who's in the game. But I'm going to guess that she did 10% more damage than the second most on her team.
Okay, so I'm seeing a few guesses in the chat. 48K, 50K, 35K, 41K. Give a couple more seconds and then I will click on it. And it looks like we do have the invite to the finals. I do have to run a commercial, so let's see who is right. 31K. We all lost. Oh, Lurch, that was your champion. You don't count. You be quiet. Freaking Lurch in the chat. Alright, so I'm going to cut to a commercial real quick, and we're going to come right back with the finals. The finals is going to be a best of 3 between Clueless, because that's who invited me to the game, and Cheese Enema. We'll be right back in just a moment.